Hi guys, this is Nottacat. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. Just as a heads up, I have a cold today, so if I start sounding a bit like Lois halfway through, please forgive me, please be patient. I'll try and drink enough water so that my throat doesn't get too raspy either. You know, it's funny, as somebody who's decided to make content which requires my voice to sound nice, I'm also somebody who's really susceptible to like ear, nose and throat stuff. So this might be a running theme until winter is over. But I thought that I would do the Q&A today because doing this kind of stuff usually cheers me up and gives me a little pep. And also because I am now halfway through the Naruto essay. And that usually means that my work speed, it gets like a little boost and I really get into the flow of it, the rhythm of it. And at that point, I'm not gonna have time to do Q&As, so this is kind of like last chance saloon for making extra content before I really knuckle down. And also my mother-in-law is coming over for Christmas, so I need to like clean the house and all that kind of stuff. So I will see if I can answer almost everything. Let me get the doc up. I have like a little note of all the questions. I don't have as many notes for my answers this time, guys. Even though I do love a good script, I think that it's good practice for me. I actually can't find this document. Wait a second. Oh my god, I actually can't find it. Now I'm gonna have to say all that again. Here we go. Before we move on, I don't know if everybody saw my post the other day, or maybe by the time this is posted, it'll be the other week. But just in case you missed it, I'm thinking of making the Naruto video available for early access for the price of one senzu bean on my coffee. So let me know in the comments if you'd be up for purchasing it for early access. If not, I will not be offended. But I know that there's a few people who really hate to wait, and I understand that because my videos take a while. I'm a one-woman team, guys. Anyway, on to the Q&A. Let's get started. Number one, first question was, what helps you get out of bed in the morning and fall asleep at night? For both of these things, I feel like routine has been extremely important for me. I wasn't always the type of person who found it easy to get up in the morning and go to bed at night. I think it took me a long time to figure out my chronotype, which is essentially I go to bed at like 11:30 and wake up at 8:30, or go to bed at midnight and wake up at 9. Either way, I'm getting like 9 solid hours of sleep. And even if I get 9 hours of sleep, going to bed early and getting up early is just not for me. And as soon as I figured out that chronotype, my sleep got a lot easier to manage and I had to kind of micromanage it a lot less. My head hits the pillow these days and I'm out. But yeah, routine, as well as the chronotype routine, has been extremely important. In the morning in particular, I make sure that I have a really simple, solid routine that's full of stuff that I look forward to, so that when I wake up, I'm not just thinking, oh man, what have I got to do today? I'm thinking, oh, I know what I do in the morning and I'm excited for it. So in the morning, I look forward to making myself a nice breakfast with lots of protein. I usually have eggs or bacon or something like that. Usually something indulgent that I look forward to and want to get out of bed for. So I have a good breakfast. I check my plants. I showed you guys some of my plants in the last video. The great thing about having plants is that even when there's not a lot going on in your life, your plants are always kind of doing something new, especially if you have a lot of them. So for example, the other day I woke up and my Monstera Tai constellation was opening up a new leaf, and it's her first leaf that's got fenestrations. So I was like really excited about that in a sad kind of way. But it's not sad if it makes you happy. And also, this little golem jade, I pruned him a few weeks ago and now he has new growth coming out of one of the stumps that I cut. Maybe I'll insert some B-roll in case you're interested. But no, seriously, in the morning, I look forward to eating my breakfast, checking what's going on with my plants, because I love my plants and they're always doing something new. And I always do Qigong mid-morning, so I look forward to doing that. The routine kind of goes, check my plans and have breakfast, chat to my partner, work. And then by the time I've worked for an hour or two, I really want to get my body moving, get my energy moving again. So by that point, I'm really ready for Qigong. And after Qigong, I'm really ready for a shower. So it's like my routine has a really natural flow to it. And honestly, just having that to look forward to in the morning, that makes it so easy to get out of bed. And, you know, it doesn't have to be anything grand. It can be like looking forward to having a cup of coffee or writing in your journal. I have like a gratitude journal that I write in every morning. And that's also part of my nighttime routine as well. I think when I became a parent, I learned just how important routine is for winding down at the end of the night, because babies and toddlers sometimes really need help winding down after a day of excitement. I always make sure I cozy up with a book for the last 40 minutes of the day in bed. And it's usually a book that's easy to read. There's no point in forcing myself through something difficult right before going to sleep. A Man and His Cat is pretty good. Or Naruto, anything that's easy to read and makes you feel nice. For a while, I was reading Berserk before bed, but then it gave me nightmares, so it became a daytime reading thing. But yeah, I wake up in the morning easily because I have stuff to look forward to, and I go to sleep at night because I treat myself really gently at night. I read nice things, listen to relaxing music. Honestly, it's all about simplicity and routine. Two of my favorite things. I think people stress themselves out by thinking that they have to have some kind of grand purpose for getting up in the morning, but really it's all about the simple stuff, because that's what life is full of most of the time. Okay, question number 2. How do you balance being a mom with making content and making time for yourself? I keep my life relatively simple, and I think I'm at the point where I can balance being a mom and making content and having time for myself and my hobbies pretty well, because I don't force myself to do a bunch of complicated stuff that I'm not interested in. And I don't force my family to do activities all the time. I'm not carting my son from one class to another. We do big outings occasionally, but not much. All my hobbies are things that I can do from home. Qigong, yoga, plants, learning languages, writing, stuff like that. A lot of people, I think, really, really struggle, understandably, when they become a parent, because there's a lot of pressure from social media to be a busy mom who goes to all these baby and toddler groups and these classes and does big outings, but really kids just want to be at home hanging out with you most of the time, or hanging out with their friends. They don't need big, expensive, complicated lives, actually, that can lead to more stress for everybody. And I've had a much easier time, and my son's been more relaxed too, since in the last year I've really pared things down and simplified things. Once you stop trying to keep up with the busyness of modern life, you'll find that all of a sudden you have all this time for your hobbies, for your fitness, for your relaxation, time with your partner, if you just stop trying to keep up with everybody else. I've realized I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot. I like doing my exercises, I like writing, I like spending time with my partner and my son. Add in some music to listen to, books I like, a couple walks around the block every day, and I'm a happy camper. I suppose a lot of people would say that I have a bit of a boring life, but this is the most relaxed and most fulfilled I have ever been. I'm not really that much of a social butterfly. I don't care too much for socializing. I'd rather be at home writing or reading. So once I started honoring that, things got a lot easier. That was a pretty comprehensive reply, wasn't it? I'll try and zoom through the rest of them a little bit quicker. Number 3, what's your favorite Dragon Ball Z arc and why? And have you watched Jujutsu Kaisen? Off the bat, I have not watched Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, somebody else asked me if I'd watched Monster. I haven't watched that either, sorry. I feel like I don't have a really extensive anime and manga knowledge. Jujutsu Kaisen I know is a really, really big one, but it's kind of on my list of things to read once I run out of stuff to read. I'm kind of one day I'll read Jujutsu Kaisen, one day I'll read Inuyasha, but it's kind of low on my priorities list. My favorite Dragon Ball Z arc and why? I would say my favorite arc is probably Frieza or Cell. I mean Frieza for obvious reasons. I thought it was interesting enough to make an extremely long video about it. Frieza is just an absolutely fantastic villain, and I love that we get lots of time with Gohan and Krillin in that arc as well, so it's a lot of fun. The visuals are amazing, the colors on Namek are amazing, and there's lots of great Vegeta action, and yeah. I love a bit of Vegeta-focused storytelling, as you know. And also Cell is just great TV. I mean, it's been a while since I watched it, but I remember finding him so genuinely disgusting, and the story was so exciting. So I'm quite looking forward to watching it again. Also, this person said Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. I'm actually putting up my tree this weekend, I think. We just have a fake tree because I have a cat that bites everything. I also have these plants which she shouldn't really bite, but the Christmas tree for some reason is just really, really tantalizing to cats, and it's extra hard to keep them away from it. So yeah, we have a fake tree, but it's still a lot of fun to put up, and it's covered in sparkly little lights, so it's lovely. Number 4, do you plan on continuing Vegeta's humanity through the Super? I feel he and Goku were heavily flanderized. So I know this is a touchy subject because Toriyama was involved in the making of Super, but having tried to read it and tried to watch it, I would agree that the flanderization is a huge issue, and I just kind of feel like, okay, I'm not gonna bash the art in the manga because it's fine. It's like really good fan art, but the anime just looks like, it just looks like shit. I really don't like the way that it looks. Something about the colors, everything looks so clean and high key, and yeah, and I just can't get into the aesthetic of it. Maybe I just don't like modern anime very much, I don't know. But yeah, Super doesn't really do it for me, and for that reason I don't think I'll be covering it, because I feel like if I sat down to make a video about Super, I would just be moaning the whole time and it wouldn't be very interesting. But yeah, I was very disappointed with Super. I also tried to watch the, what's it called? The Tournament of Power film, and that was rough. It looked awful. Sorry to anyone who likes that movie. I thought that the Broly movie from, what was it, 2018 or something? I thought that was okay. It was fine. Number 5. Oh, this is a good one. Would your favorite food be something traditional from your country or something from another country? So this is hard because I love food in general. There's very few things that I won't eat. I won't eat like offal. I'm a little bit squeamish about that. And I don't like potato salad, but almost everything else I'm cool with. But if I had to pare it down, I really love Italian food and Greek food. I love parmigiana, and if you've never had parmigiana, it's basically, it's so good. It's basically, how do I describe it? If you like lasagna and you like mozzarella and you like aubergine, parmigiana is like heaven. It's like aubergine slices that you fry with like breadcrumbs and stuff, and you layer that with mozzarella and tomato sauce and you bake it in the oven, and it's so good. It's like a pasta-less lasagna but more fun, I guess. I don't know if that's being reductive, but that's the best way I can think to describe it. It's a bit of a mess to make, but it's definitely worth it because it's so decadent, you know? I asked my partner Leo what my favorite food is because I couldn't decide, and he said mozzarella sticks, so that goes on the list as well. I don't just like fancy food, I love slop. I love mozzarella sticks. I have a real weakness for mozzarella sticks. I don't know why. I don't know if that counts as Italian food. Maybe in the south I can see mozzarella fritta being a thing, but I don't know. Greek-wise, I love halloumi and I love dolmades, which are like stuffed vine leaves. And they're usually just stuffed with like rice and they're smothered in oil. And they're just really tasty, like little morsels. So delicious. And I also love a good ramen. Doesn't really matter what's in it, as long as the broth is nice, a little egg on top. Delicious. Like, I'm there. Number 6, I double dog dare you to start One Piece. Way ahead of you, pal. It's at the point now where I think I've read everything up to Wano twice, and then after that I've read it all once. I don't know how I feel about Egghead Island. It's fine, but I feel like it's a little bit messy, and I feel like Oda is at the point where he's just juggling so many factions and so many characters that it's lost direction a little bit for me. But I don't know if that's because of the quality of the writing or if it's because I've caught up with the manga and I'm now having to wait months between volumes. But yeah, I like One Piece a lot. It has a really, really special place in my heart, although not big on the anime. Naruto-like pacing or worse is how I would describe it. So yeah, I'm more into the manga, but I do love it. And Luffy was definitely like one of my big comfort characters historically. I feel like we don't see Luffy, and there's just too many characters now. Like, I can't keep up. I can't keep up. So what I'm doing now is I'm waiting and letting a few volumes build up, and then I'm going to read them all in a oneer because I feel like I keep track of the story better if I can read a bunch in a row. Number 7, do you ever relate to Boo, Saga, Gohan, wasted potential, etc.? So it looks like I copied out this question, but only part of it. I think that you were asking about wasted potential. So yes, I feel like everybody has periods of their life where they feel like they've wasted their time or wasted their talents or their potential, but it's actually okay to not always be going full throttle. It's actually okay to not always be fully realizing your potential. It's fine to just trundle along for a while. I think I used to worry a lot about whether or not I was realizing my potential, but the worry doesn't do you any good, and it doesn't really motivate you either. Yeah, the idea of wasted potential and being complacent for too long, I do. Listen, I think this is an extremely universal experience. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you or anything wrong with your life. And okay, complacency can be a problem, laziness can be a problem, but even then, like, your life has seasons, and sometimes you're just gonna have a week or a month or a year where you're just having a bit of a lazy time. Doesn't mean that you can't get back on your feet again. Like when I was in my 20s, I remember this big like, who am I? What am I doing in life? And you're spending so much time trying to figure things out internally that pursuing all of your potential, pursuing all your dreams externally is just not like, it's just not a reasonable expectation. So maybe if you've been complacent, it's just because you're figuring other stuff out, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you can't start now. When I'm feeling complacent, stuff that gets my body and brain going really helps. So I go for a couple walks a day, and getting out in the fresh air I find really, really helps. Doing anything that involves like stretching and breathing exercises like Qigong or yoga. I don't know if Tai Chi would be good for that. I've never done Tai Chi, but what plans do you have for next year with regards to your channel and your life? Continuing to raise my son into a member of society, I guess. That's the thing about being a mom. Like, you don't really need to sit and think, okay, well, what is my purpose today? What's my purpose this year? Because your purpose is right in front of you. It's your kid, you know? And what's going on with my channel? Next year, I'm going to be releasing Vegeta's Humanity 4. God, I can't believe we're on 4 already. Beyond that, I'm probably going to be working on the Jiraiya video, if there's lots of interest for that. I think there will be, because Jiraiya is awesome. And beyond that, I'm just going to see where the year takes me. I don't want to make too many promises about videos I'm going to make or not going to make, because I feel like I do change my mind a lot. But I'm definitely going to be doing Vegeta's Humanity 4 and doing a video on Jiraiya. And maybe I'll do some more Q&As and stuff once I get a proper tripod. At the moment, it's a bit hard to set up. I have my phone on top of 5 berserks, and then propped up with like a pen holder. So yeah, once I get some more proper lighting and like a tripod that works properly, maybe I'll do more chatty videos or more manga reviews. I would really love to do that. Okay, number 9. This is a commenter I see a lot. So hello. This person asked about Rurouni Kenshin. Okay, so this is an apparently huge franchise which I had never heard of. According to IMDb, it's the adventures of a young wandering swordsman who stumbles upon a struggling martial arts school in the Meiji era Japan. That sounds pretty good. It's like a manga and an anime and a series of movies. Like, there's so much stuff to consume. So yeah, I love samurai stuff and I love the older anime aesthetic. So I will definitely check that out. Thank you for the recommendation. Actually, I'll probably read it rather than watch it because I feel like I run out of stuff to read really quickly. So I'll probably get like a stack of Rurouni Kenshin to read maybe over the winter. I'm gonna wrap this up soon, but there were a couple more questions I wanted to answer. If you could make everyone understand one rule about character writing, what would it be? So I think, and listen, I've always written as a hobby, but I have worked with a lot of fiction writers and I have a lot of writer friends, and I think that especially for people who aren't established yet, it can be really easy to get bogged down in the idea of writing a completely original character. And here's the thing, most great beloved characters in fiction are actually heavily based on a great character or great characters that came before them. No great character exists in a vacuum. They're usually based on someone or something or a really familiar archetype. So I would say if I had to give one piece of advice on character writing, or if there's one thing you really have to understand, is don't stress over trying to create something completely original. You know, by being a human being who exists in the world and has heard stories all your life, like movies, books, TV, stories told by your friends, jokes, children's books, we're always surrounded by stories and surrounded by characters. And so considering that nothing exists in a vacuum, it's almost completely impossible to make an entirely original character. So by all means, use archetypes, and by all means, use inspiration from media that you have enjoyed. And then by the very nature of being written by you, that character type or that archetype will have new life breathed into it. And then after that, it's all just a matter of becoming better as a writer. So yeah, hopefully that wasn't too rambly. Basically, originality is overrated. Editing Evie has just realized that there's a second half of this question that I really wanted to answer. If you could sit down with one creator and ask them why they wrote a character a certain way, who would it be? Now, there are way too many possible answers to this question, but I think at the moment, because I'm reading Full Metal Alchemist, I've been wondering where Hiromu Arakawa got the inspiration for Ed and Al. I wonder if they're kind of like based on her brothers, because I know she grew up with a big family, I think on a farm. So I'm assuming she had a lot of brothers, and I'm just wondering because Ed and Al being these kind of like ordinary kids, well, they're kind of extraordinary in a way, but they also feel like real kids, you know what I mean, with real insecurities and real vulnerabilities about them. And I'm wondering if they're based on just her, or if they're based on her brothers. I feel like she writes men really, really well. I didn't grow up with any brothers, but I always wanted to write boy characters, but I didn't have a lot of inspiration for that. And I just feel like she gets that balance of bravery and vulnerability so right. She's a great character writer and designer in general. I think my favorite at the moment is the female Major General at Briggs. And she's just so like feminine, but also so strong and cool, and yeah, this is a good one. Okay, what character archetypes do you enjoy the most? Who do you relate to the most? And how much crossover is there between the two? I really love, as a sensitive lady myself, an actually sensitive, actually feminine character who is at the same time a powerful woman in other ways. And I think I talked about this in the last Q&A, but I love Bulma because she is impetuous and she's kind of spoiled and she's imperfect and she's bratty and she can be kind of complainy. It's just really good to see a female character who is bratty and really, really feminine, but also really strong. I kind of hate it. I feel like this happens especially in video games, but you get these like female characters who almost feel like men because they're too afraid to make an actually feminine, actually kind of vulnerable female character who's also interesting. I like a character who's a female character who's a little bit unstable, I guess, but is cool in other ways. I think that is all I have time for. It's 10:50, so it's almost time for my qigong, and I'm gonna go and do that. I'm hoping that when I go to edit this, it's not too rambly. This was kind of like a little experiment to see how I do without a script. So we'll see. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I hope you're all taking care of yourselves, and if you enjoyed the video, please let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe as well if you haven't already. I'll catch you later, guys. Ciao!